Hey guys, welcome back. Did you know that a cluttered home actually raises your stress levels? It has been proven. If you're feeling a little stressed in your home, I have a bunch of things today that I'm going to talk about that I think will help. You know, sometimes I look around my home and I feel like I'm decluttering all the time, yet it still looks cluttered. And it's hard for me to pinpoint why. But I have collected some reasons. I'm going to give them to you. These are all examples that I found in my own house. You may be making these mistakes as well, but I'm also going to give you some easy and quick fixes. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start in the living room. So the first thing that could be making your home look cluttered is if you have lots of small pictures, even just lots of pictures in general. Look around your living room. If you've got maybe a gallery wall of photographs or art and it's got small frames everywhere, small things actually appear cluttered to your eye. So even though it's not dirty or anything like that, it just looks cluttered and it's very overwhelming. A lot of small pictures and a lot of small things like that could actually be making the room look cluttered. I would say if you have a huge wall, then go ahead and get maybe 1 or 2 pieces of big art rather than lots of little pieces. That will help you feel less stressed and it will make the room look a lot less cluttered. Also in the living room, take a look at your throw pillows. If you have tons of throw pillows on your couch, I mean, maybe there's not even a place to sit. You should reevaluate, do an uneven number of throw pillows, and depending on how big your couch is, that can kind of dictate how many throw pillows you want, but just be sure you're not overdoing it and making it really cluttered with pillows. Say if you've got a couch, maybe do 3 pillows. If you have a sectional, you could do 5, but try to stay within that. The next is a bunch of shoes just lying around, and I used to be super guilty of this for many, many years. We didn't have anywhere to put our shoes. Well, we did have a place to put our shoes, but nobody was using it, and they ended up just all being by the front door. Just people would come home from school, from work, toss their shoes by the front door, and it was just like really cluttered and depressing to see our entryway. Now I have a solution. I've got a basket for shoes. We also have a little hutch where people can put their shoes. We have a closet. We have lots of choices for where people can put their shoes, and we finally can walk into our entryway and not feel cluttered immediately with lots of shoes. Okay, another item is full countertops. I used to do this in my kitchen. I had so many appliances and piles of mail, lots of things. The kitchen counters are just a perfect breeding ground for clutter. There are these big open spaces and you just want to pile your things onto it. I recommend only keeping items on the counter that you use on a daily basis. That could be your coffee pot or maybe your toaster. Whatever it is, if you aren't using it daily, then I suggest putting it away. In fact, if you only use it maybe once a year, I would even put it in the basement or into storage or consider getting rid of it. Of course, an empty counter is like 100 times easier to keep clean. While we're in the kitchen, another thing that could be making your home look cluttered is your fridge door. So take a look at your fridge. Do you see anything on it? Do you have magnets and pieces of paper? Again, this is kind of the same idea with like the lots of small little pictures. Same thing with your fridge. When you've got lots of small pieces of paper or small magnets on your fridge, it again just looks cluttered to your eye. What I like to do is we keep our front of our fridge completely clear, and then I put all of the things that we would have wanted to put on the front of the fridge, I put those on the side of the fridge. And then that way you can't see them. You actually have to walk around to the side of the counter to see anything on the fridge, but at least it's there and we can keep it there without having to make the fridge look cluttered. Also with your refrigerator is the top of your refrigerator. This is just an area that it's convenient. Get something that you're not quite sure what to do with and you just stick it right on top of the fridge. I'm just reminding you to also keep that free and clear, because while you think that it's out of sight and you can't see it, you can see it. When you walk in the room, maybe you're used to seeing it, but when other people walk into your house, they're looking around and they actually will see whatever you've got stuffed up there. And I'm needing to do this myself. My oldest daughter will put things she doesn't want my youngest son to touch, and she'll stick them up there so that he can't reach them, and then they stay up there for several weeks or months, and then I forget about them. Another tip is paper and mail. I used to get my mail and then only go through it maybe once every 3 weeks or so. I don't do that anymore. Now I get the mail and I go through it immediately. This tip has really completely eliminated the paper clutter in my kitchen. I mean, once you bring that mail into the house, it's no longer mail. Now it's like paper clutter that you need to deal with. So my recommendation is just deal with your paper clutter, deal with your mail right away, and that'll be a good tip to keep the clutter out of your home. Another thing is overfilled shelves or overfilled bookcases. I find that bookcases in particular are really easy to get cluttered because it's like this contained space and you just kind of keep shoving things into it. I recommend taking a look at your bookcases and looking at your shelves and just trying to have some open space on them so that they don't feel kind of claustrophobic. What I would recommend for books is not to double stack your books, just do it in a single stack, and then that way you can see all the books that you have and it doesn't actually look cluttered to your eye. You know, stacking books could be an easy way to store them, but it's not really functional and you won't be able to find the books that you actually need. Next is to take a look at your furniture. Sometimes we have furniture and then we move into another house and the furniture doesn't quite fit into the room that we've put it in. You know, maybe we've moved to a larger home or maybe we've moved to a smaller home. I would say look around and see if the furniture is the right size for the room that you have it in. If you've got like a small little office, do you have a huge oversized couch in the room that's taking up more than half of the space? If so, that could be making it feel cluttered. Or maybe you've got lots of pieces of furniture in a room and it's really hard to even walk around all the furniture. That will also make it feel cluttered. So I would say take a look and really evaluate the furniture in your room and decide what should stay or what should go. Next is electrical cords. When your eye sees lots of cords hanging down, lots of cords around the room, that also causes the idea of clutter. And I would recommend a few things. They do have these covers so that you can hide your cables. They also have these really cool boxes, which I use in our kitchen so that we can hide the cables from our computers. I would recommend investing in some of those products. I think that they work really well to hide the cables. But then, speaking of cables, make sure that you're continuously decluttering these things. We often have mystery cords and cables and chargers, and they just pile up in this box that we have, and we hang on to them thinking that we need them. The truth is we will not need them, so make sure to constantly be decluttering so that you don't end up with lots of boxes of cables that you're not even sure what they belong to. These are things that can also be recycled. Usually at the public library, they have like a day where you can recycle all your old electronics, and that includes the cords and cables. My next item is in your bathroom, and it's if you have a lot of items on your bathroom counter. What I actually like to do is I call it corral your products. I like to put baskets or even a tray, and then that is where I put my products. That's a lot easier to clean around, number one. But then number two, it just looks a little neater because everything is like neatly corralled in one space. And then I know if it gets really cluttered on that tray or in that basket, I know it's time to declutter that area. Next one's a little bit strange, but it's not enough lighting. When you have poor lighting or not enough lighting in a room, it actually creates shadows. And those shadows end up tricking your eye into thinking that it's clutter. You don't literally think it's clutter, but it just feels cluttered. I would say go around and evaluate your rooms, see which rooms are dark, maybe get some lamps or different kinds of lighting that you can put in if you do feel like your room is too dark, and that will immediately make the room look bigger and brighter, and you won't have that sense of clutter from shadows. Another thing is if you've got lots of different products, especially out on display, that have different labels on them, like a thing of dish soap and a thing of hand soap, then you've got your cleaner and it's all different shapes and sizes of bottles with different labels. That could also look cluttered. I would just recommend getting some glass or plastic bottles that you can reuse and refill and just keeping those out. I think they look really nice. They really elevate the space. They make it look neater and cleaner and a lot less cluttered. Okay, next is about knickknacks. I know that some people love knickknacks, other people hate them. Some people are kind of in the middle, which is kind of where I am. I would say if you've got a lot of knickknacks or you have a lot of collectible items, instead of keeping all of it on display, think about rotating it maybe every 6 months or a year. You just rotate out your display of things. That's what I like to do. I kind of rotate it by seasons because I've got a lot of things that I sometimes like to display, but I can't display it all at once because then it just looks really cluttered. So just a tip to keep in mind, rotate those knickknacks, rotate your collectibles, and it'll also feel good to you because you will put something away and then you'll see it 6 months later and you'll be excited about it all over again. One of the things I have trouble letting go of for some reason is bath towels. So I will buy a matching set of bath towels and use it for years, and then I don't get rid of it, and then I get another set on top of it, and then of course I've got 2 different sets of bath towels in one bathroom, again contributing to clutter, and it just looks cluttered in the bathroom. So my recommendation is replace your bath towels. I like to replace mine every decade. Some people do this even more frequently, maybe less frequently, whatever schedule works for you. But when you replace your towels, try to get all of the same looking colored towels that will look really nice and cohesive, and then donate your other towels that you're no longer using. This next tip is also a bit strange, but if you think about it, it actually really makes sense, and it is about the doorways in your home. Not just your front door or your back door, but every single doorway in your home. And one of the things that could be making your home look cluttered is if you've got something in the way of that doorway. So let me explain. If you can't open your door fully, all the way, that will make your room feel cluttered. And I can give you a very specific example of when this happened to me. When I set up my bedroom in this house that I'm in now, that we bought this house 11 years ago, I wanted to have my dresser in the middle of the wall. However, that meant that the door to my bedroom couldn't open fully. It would end up hitting the dresser. I decided, well, it's better to at least have the dresser centered and then not centered, so I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with that. I was very wrong. Mom came to visit and she ended up moving the dresser over so that it's no longer in the middle of the wall, but now I can open the door and it looks 100 times better. So just make sure that you can open your doors all the way in all of your rooms and make sure that there's nothing in the way of that, whether it's furniture or like a pile of things. It will make a huge impact. I also kind of want to address stair baskets. I know a lot of people love these. These are those little baskets people put on the stairs, and then when they go upstairs, they take the whole basket up with them. I think those are cute and they could be functional, but that's another thing that could be making it feel cluttered because you can't really like access the entire stairway when you've got a basket sitting there. Just something to keep in mind. Next is the day-to-day clutter, something we all need to stay on top of. This is the clean laundry that needs to be put away. Maybe it's the dishes that need to be put away or the dishwasher needing to be emptied. An unmade bed, a box of donations that needs to go. My biggest tip here is just set a timer for 10 minutes. This is the 10-minute tidy, and every day set that timer and just as much as you can tidy, as much as you can do in those 10 minutes, just get it done. I am telling you, you will be shocked at how much you can actually do in 10 minutes, and it will make a huge impact on your home and make it look way less cluttered and help with that day-to-day clutter. Let me know in the comments below if you have any tips for how you deal with clutter, and if you've got ideas on what could be making your home feel cluttered. I would love to hear them. And now I'm gonna put a video up here, and this is all about paper decluttering. It's lots of good tips and tricks on how to get rid of paper clutter. I know this is something we all struggle with. It's not going away anytime soon. So check that video out. I will see you over there, and thanks for watching.